kurang bisan why jangama kurang bisan ya matrenelo Yandem marong yandem jai kai wai yandem marong suma yandem marong kai wai kurang bisan why jangama.
The parliamentary type of debate. So what we want to do, as we said from the beginning, all we want to do here is free and fair. So we have numbers in here. You guys are to be paired in numbers. So if you pick number one and another person picks number one, it automatically means that person is your partner. In debate, partnership is key. So I would ask all the six of you to all come and pick. Everybody, all the contestants.
If you both pick the same number, then it means that you are partners. Minister is to come and introduce the motion, set the parameters of the debate where necessary, of course, give his point, and then, yeah, take a POI. That is, POI means point of intervention or point of information. That is a question from the opposition side. It goes for 5 marks. You must take a POI. And if you refuse to take a POI throughout your debate, it means that you're going to lose the mark for POI. And if a POI is not asked to you, it means that you're going to get the mark for POI automatically. So now your role as the Prime Minister is to come and introduce the motion of the House. Remember, it's a parliament. After introducing the motion, set the parameters of the debate. When we say the parameters of the debate, it is about you limiting the topic of discussion. For example, when we say this House will ban social media, you know, social media is very open, right? We have WhatsApp, we have a lot of social media handles. So now setting the parameter means you limiting the topic of discussion to maybe one social media handle like TikTok or Facebook or any one that you think. It's like you limiting the topic of discussion to a particular thing. So that is your choice. If you want, you can set the parameter. If you feel like you can debate without that, it's also okay. So that is the role of the Prime Minister, to come and introduce the motion, set the parameter, give his points, of course, support it with evidence and facts, statistics, and yeah, just to make the points very strong. Then take a POI. And when you're asking a POI, you're supposed to rise up and say POI. You're supposed to rise up and say POI, and it is now left to you to either answer it, to either take the POI or reject it by saying you're not going to take the POI or something like that. Now that's the role of the Prime Minister. Let's come to the role of the opposition leader. Immediately after the Prime Minister, we'll have the opposition leader, and the opposition leader, you're the second person to come to debate before the House. So your role is to first. Oh, sorry, I left one important thing. You know, it's a motion, right? And we have key terms in the motion. You're supposed to define the key terms of the motion, and also tell us the sources of your definition. We need to have the sources of your definition. Now let's come to the opposition leader. Your role is to come and debunk the points of the Prime Minister, give your own point, and maybe give an alternative if you are necessary. Take a POI too and summarize and conclude. Summary and conclusion is very important. You're supposed to tell us what you have done in the course of your debating. For example, if you mention 3 points, tell the House that I mentioned 3 points, which were point number 1, which was this, point number 2, which was this, and point number 3, which was this, and I will now conclude. Something like that is the summary of your debate. And of course, at least try and tell us 1 or 2 things that you have discussed in your points. That is what we mean by the summary. So now back to the opposition leader. Your role is to debunk the points of the Prime Minister. That is to go against the points of the Prime Minister. And when going against the points of the Prime Minister, you're supposed to, let's say, tell us the point that he made mention of, and tell us the reasons why the point is not strong, or the reason why the point should not be considered. That is going against the points of the Prime Minister. After doing that, then give us your own points, take a POI, summarize, and conclude. Get it? And it is also your responsibility to redefine the key terms, assuming that he defined the key terms without defining them correctly, or without giving relevant sources. Or you feel like the key terms were defined in a very biased way to support him. Yeah. So after that, also, let's come to the third person to speak, who is the Deputy Prime Minister. The role of the Deputy Prime Minister is also very simple. Deputy Prime Minister, hello? Deputy Prime Minister. So your role is going to be very simple. You're supposed to come and begin by debunking the points of the opposition leader. After doing that, you strengthen the points of your prime minister. That is to make the points more powerful by maybe citing different examples just to make the points more powerful or explain them in a very better way. But that should be done in a very briefly. After debunking and strengthening, you are also supposed to come and give us your own points. After doing that, summarize and conclude. And of course, in the course of your debate, you can take a POI. And just a reminder, the POI starts from the second minute to the 6th minute. In the first minute is a protected time. No one will be allowed to ask you a POI. And in the last 1 minute of the 7 minutes is also a protected time. No one will be allowed to ask you a POI. I hope you understand. Deputy Prime Minister. Good. So now the next speaker to come is the deputy opposition leader. Your role is also very simple. Your role is to come and debunk the points of the prime minister and the deputy prime minister, strengthen the points of your partner by making them more powerful, giving more examples or explain them in a very better way. Then also give us your points. Okay? Yeah. So basically that is your role. And take a POI, of course. Yeah, summarize and conclude. So that's basically a mark for each and everything that you do in the course of your debating. Now let's come to the last people there. Last but not the least, of course, we have the closing government. So your role is very simple. Not simple, but yeah, very simple, of course. So your role is to introduce another perspective to the debate. Remember, you were listening when these people were debating. So we expect you guys to bring in something new, new points, new perspective. So your role as you are called the government member, and the last person is called the government whip. As the government member, you're supposed to begin by debunking the points of the opposition leader and the deputy opposition leader, debunking them, then strengthen the points of the prime minister and deputy prime minister. Of course, give us your points, summarize and conclude. And the point also, it depends on, you're not supposed to give a lot of points. Just check your timing and see the number of points that you can be able to give us. So basically, that is your role. Debunk, strengthen, give your points, summarize, and conclude. Now to the last speaker of the House, the last parliamentarian, who is called the closing government whip. So your role is also to debunk the points of these people, strengthen the points of these people, with more emphasis on the points of your partner. Then also, you're allowed to give only 1 point, summarize and conclude. Okay? You're allowed to give only 1 point, summarize and conclude. And remember, there's a mark for POI and for everything that you do in the debate. So the most powerful points normally, it's important for you to make your point very powerful by giving us evidence, statistics, and convince us. Yes. Thank you very much. So any question? Because you guys are working together, but you guys are opponents. So as the government whip, your emphasis in the strengthening should be more on your partner's points. Okay? So all the best. Times you think that you are making sense whilst you are going against the topic of discussion. For example, if we say this house will ban rice importation, and you mistakenly bring in a point that is supporting, let's say you are in the government side, you are supposed to say this house will ban rice importation, but you mistakenly bring in a point to contradict yourself. That is a way of that is one of the ways in which you can soft or knife. And let's say also you bring in a point, your partner came and contradict that point, or came and bring in a different information relating to that point. That also is a way of shutting. So it's important for you guys to work together. Let your information be similar. Let's say also you're coming here. Let's say the first person came and said the age for youth is within 15 to 35, and your same partner came and said no, it's 18 to 40. You guys are contradicting yourself. So that also is a way of shifting. So you guys should be very mindful of that. You should not contradict each other. You should work together. Okay? Yeah. And if you do that, it means that you guys are getting zero automatically.
Debaters, the motion is, are you guys prepared? This House believes that low salaries are the primary driver of teacher attrition in the Gambia. This House believes that low salaries are the primary driver of teacher attrition in the Gambia. Should I go through again? No,
Is the primary driver. Okay, salaries.
I repeat, this House believes that low salaries are the primary driver of teacher attrition in the Gambia.
Please confirm before we start the time. You're given 15 minutes to prepare.
Before he starts the term, for the last time, I'm going to read. This House believes that low salaries are the primary driver of teacher attrition in the Gambia. You all have it now? Timekeeper, your time starts now. 15 minutes.
Here are the rubrics that we'll be judging you on. First, we have the content, which will be going for 40%. From the content, we are going to look at your arguments, your thinking and analysis, and of course, your research. From this, the second thing is the structure. The structure is going for 30%. We are going to look at the clarity and coherence, that is 10 marks, on understanding of your rules, and most importantly, logical flow of ideas. It's all going for 10, 10, and 10, making it 30. Next, we are also going to look at the rebuttals, which is 20%. So the Prime Minister will not be doing rebuttals, but he will be defining the key terms. So the nature in which you define the key terms will determine how much you get from the 20%. So definition or rebuttals will be 10%. Listening and engaging will be five marks. Point of information, that is the POI, will be 5 marks. If you did not ask a POI to the speaker, that is those in the opposition, you are not going to. Obviously, the speaker will get the POI, the full mark for the POI. But if you ask and the person refuses to answer, and asks again and refuses to answer throughout the debate, then the person is automatically going to lose the mark for POI. Now let's come to the time management. That goes for 10%. The time management is divided like this. We have adherence to time limits, which is 5 marks, the pacing, which is 2 marks, and the final summary, which is the 3 mark. So like I said earlier on, you guys are given 7 minutes, 15 seconds. The first 1 minute is a protected time. No one will be allowed to ask a question. But from the second to the 6th minute, it's open, unprotected time, and questions are open from your opponents, those on your opposition. And the summary is also very important. It's important for you to tell us what you did in the course of your debating. And yeah, that goes for 100 marks, and it will be divided by 2. So it's like you're going to work together. When he gets 100 and you get 100, we are going to divide it by 2 and average it. So basically, that's all. And also, it does not mean that you're supposed to answer each and every POI given to you. Just one POI is okay. When you fully answer it, you're going to get the 5 marks for POI. But if you feel like you did not answer the question very well, and another question comes your way, you can decide to take it and answer it very well. Then maybe get the full mark for the POI. Yes. Any question or clarification before we begin? So if the house is set, we would like to hear from the Prime Minister of the House. Yeah. And you're not supposed to clap, you're supposed to do this. Yeah. How do we call this? Language students? Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Before going any further, I would like to give you the structure of my debate. First of all, I will give the perimeter of the debate. From there, I will give you my key terms, define the key terms, and then give you my points, summarize and conclude. Now, let's go back to the topic which says, this House believes that low salaries are the primary driver of teacher attrition. Attrition is a key term which I will give you the definition. According to Merriam-Webster, a reduction in the number as a result of resignation or retirement is known as attrition. Then I will give you the definition of a teacher. Who is a teacher actually? Someone whose occupation is to instruct, according to Merriam-Webster's dictionary. And then what is salary in this content? A fixed compensation paid regularly for services. These are the key terms I have. Now let me give you my key point. The number one key point I have here is teachers are demotivated. Low salaries are the result of demotivation. And when I talk about demotivation, we mean they do not have the zeal to serve as expected. We have seen many teachers, who will in fact tell you that I am just teaching because there is no other alternative. This country lacks what? Jobs. Jobs are not created in abundance for people to serve. Therefore, some people found themselves lost in the teaching field. The number 2 point is shift of jobs. How many teachers left the field? I will give you the example. Our National Assembly member, representative, is a rat, a runaway teacher for that matter. And not only him, about statistics have shown that 70% of teachers in the Gambia have left the field and go for another job, for another alternative, because there is a reason for that. And then we will come to that as well. Yes.
You mentioned just now that over 70, you said 70% of teachers that left the teaching job they've left the teaching job, but you've not given us where you actually get the statistic from. So that means invalid.
According to teacher analysis that I saw, it says that 70% of teachers in the Gambia. That is a proven fact, and even those seated here knows that I'm telling the fact. Even you yourself will want to leave the field for another job. So your question is just a rhetorical question. I have given you the answer. Okay, let's continue, please. And then we have low performance. If teachers are not motivated, how do you think that the students will have a good grade in their performance? It is going to be difficult. Teachers need something in their pocket to feel safe, to feel like our families are there, and we can actually give out to them anyhow. But we have seen how many students have been failing, and we know that mathematics is a major problem. 90% of Gambians, according to teacher analysis, are failing maths because not only because of teacher motivation, but because they don't even like it. They hate the teacher, and the teacher is not having salaries as expected. The allowances and all those, allowances are not given. When was your salary increase? Teachers are sitting here. They know. They usually go for strike because of lack of salaries, lack of allowances. So therefore, we all know our own problem. Let's proceed to the last one. We don't have much time. The last one is lack of good livelihood. My brother, teachers know that they don't have good livelihood. That is a real manifestation. You guys are seated here. You know that you are very different from other civil servants. We see them moving with their vehicle and we envy them all the time. We want to be like them. But your livelihood is not as expected. We have poor livelihood, that's the fact. And we will say that. How many teachers have actually bought their own compound? If not from, taking loans from banks, there are many. Myself, I'm a victim. I cannot even buy a land of my own because I'm poor. Teachers are poor and they are not motivated. That's a fact. 95% of Gambians, according to teacher analysis, are broke. And therefore, they cannot buy their own land. Thank you. Now, I will conclude by saying that this is not even debatable. This is something that is a reality. And a reality has to be called a reality. You cannot call a spade a fork. If you do that, people will say, what are you crazy? I'm not here to tell you that this is a fork. I'm telling you it is a spade. So therefore, I will conclude by saying that low salary is the fact that teachers are running away, as the motion read. This House believes that low salaries are the primary driver of teacher attrition, and that is the fact. That's the first clap. Huh? Okay, 1 minute. I have discussed about, let me give you a summary, demotivation of teachers, that is one. The shift of jobs they usually do, low performance of students, and the lack of good livelihood. I would like to stop here and allow my co-presenter. And when we talk about this aspect, we are talking about the Gambian context. We are talking about teachers in the Gambia. Let me give you that. Honorable, when you are coming, take note. All right, thank you.
Speaker and members in the House, the Prime Minister, before I proceed, it is imperative that I debunk this statement that it is not because of retirement. Is retirement connected to salary? Because you said that it is as a result of retirement that teachers leave the system. Please allow me to continue. Teachers are not demotivated because it is salary is not the driving force that allow teachers to leave the system. And then you talk about land issue. The Gambia Teachers Union is motivating teachers to make sure that they acquire land, and I am part of the beneficiaries. Today I have my land here in Faraba. To continue, we should not believe that salary are the primary driver of teacher attrition in the Gambia. Many of us in the teaching field knows that we have spent ample time in the teaching field that we are not promoted. Some of the teachers are in the system for 20 years and they are not promoted. That alone can make them be frustrated and leave the system and join other sectors of work. Education is underfunded. It is not only about the teachers. Education is underfunded. That even if you go to the provinces, there is absence of teaching and learning materials. Yes.
All right. You made mention that motivation is not the key factor regarding the teachers leaving the teaching fields. What have you to justify that, please?
Yes, to provide a justification on that, I talk about promotion and underfunded. That education is underfunded. Education itself is underfunded so much so that teachers are not able to get the required materials that they need to be able to teach productively so as to be able to register good performance in an examination, especially if you go to the provinces. There is absence of what we call teaching and learning materials in the system, just as I said it earlier on. So in this case, it is not about salary. It is as a result of that education is underfunded, there is no promotion, and there is absence of teaching and learning materials. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
To the Speaker of the House, my comrade here, and the members of the government bench, should I say the disappointing government bench. First, before I move further, I want to give you the structure of my debate today. First, I am going to marginalize the points, the baseless points that are actually stated here by the government bench. Then I will strengthen the powerful and undisputable points, for that matter, that is raised by the opposition leader, and then give you two more points, summarize, and then conclude. To start with, I want to remind the Prime Minister that the motion before us today is this House believes that low salaries are the primary drivers of teacher attrition in the Gambia. But then the Prime Minister, together with the Deputy Prime Minister, comfortably stood here and said that it is not salary alone, it is also what? They talked about demotivation, they talked about respect for teachers, and this is what we are talking about. It is not salary. Thank you for pointing out the fact that teachers are not respected. This is this is a point that the opposition leader has actually raised here. That the issue of teacher appreciation in this country, the Gambia, is not because of salary, it's because of the respect that teachers lack in the society. So thank you for supporting that point. To actually move further, the deputy opposition leader mentioned that let's say teachers are running away because of salary. Let me correct this thing. Teachers are one of the highest paid civil servants. That is a fact. It is not an opinion. It is a fact. It is according to the pay scale that you are using. According to the government integrated pay scale, the recent one. Thank you. So to say that teachers are running because of salary, and where are they going? Not because of salary. That could be a personal choice. And remember, the deputy opposition leader is saying that when I leave, when I complete here, I'm going to look for something else, and I'm not going back to the teaching field. Hey, let me tell you one thing. I am a teacher by choice. I'm not a teacher by chance. So I am going back to the school and then teach. So in fact, at one point, I was really confused that whether the deputy opposition leader was actually supporting our points or he actually misunderstood the motion. So to strengthening the points raised by the opposition leader, one, he mentioned that one of the reasons for teacher attrition in this country is because of the issue of promotion. There are some teachers who spend donkey years in the teaching field and they are not promoted. It happened recently. That is commendable. However, there are other teachers who are actually not benefiting from it, and that could actually lead to the teachers going out of the teaching field. So that's one. Also, the education sector is underfunded because we need teaching and learning materials. I remember this very the opposition leader here. He knows he's a teacher as well, and we understand. Let me educate you, please. The issue is like there are teachers teaching literature. There are teachers who in fact stop teaching literature. Why? Because there are no materials available. If you teach in the provinces, you will know. For your information, he has been teaching in the provinces. In fact, he is the National Teacher Award winner, and then he got that award from the provinces in Branch Senior Secondary School. So just to absence of so I mentioned that. So now to state my points, recap. So respect for teachers. Actually, you mentioned that. That is a point I want to put forward. Teachers are actually not respected in this society, and that is one factor contributing for teachers withdrawal from the teaching field and joining other sectors. So here, what we want is for there to be there has to be sensitization for people to understand the work of the teachers, the importance of the teachers in the society, and that could serve as a motivating factor. Who told you that there's only salary that can motivate someone? The other issue is the nature of the job. Capacity building is actually lacking in the teaching sector, in the education sector for teachers. The only time teachers upgrade themselves is when they go to the Gambia College or come to the university. How about those teachers who are in the system? Okay, we have in the era of technology, the world is dynamic, things are changing. So you need to have continuous capacity building training in order for you to actually develop and be confident and have the required knowledge that aligns with the curriculum of the state in order to advance the performance of students in this country. So this is what this is actually what we need, and not just salary. To sum it up, I have clearly isolated, marginalized the points that were actually advanced by the members of the government bench, that is that of the Prime Minister and the Deputy Prime Minister, who in fact supported my point that teachers are actually running away from the field, not because of salary, but because of respect, lack of respect, and the like. And the other point is my. Thank you so much. Okay, the other point stated by, like I've strengthening the point stated by the opposition leader, that what is happening with teachers is they have a problem in promotion. The teaching field is the civil sector is underfunded, and there's absence of teaching and learning material. Of course, I have also stated my point that lack of respect for teachers and the nature of the job is the contributing factor for teacher attrition. Thank you so much.
My opponent and my government bench, I am Seni Jite, sociable if you like. My role today as the closing government, I will debunk the pointless and futile points that are being mentioned by the opposition leader and his subordinate, and then I will strengthen the meaningful statement given by the honorable, government, bench. All right, and then I will give my own point, then summarize and conclude. Now let us hit the nail on the head in this aspect. And how do we do that? We get back to one of the clause or statement or phrase, if you like, that honorable mentioned, that education is underfunded. I'm sorry, that you must understand. Underfunding has something to do with the salary that is being input on those teachers that you are seeing in those fields. When there is underfunding, teachers are not given enough. They don't have enough. So that is why the aspect of salary is being put forward. You cannot count and bring the statement or the word underfunding and you said you want to use that to defend teachers as they are paid well. No teacher can attest to the fact that you are giving enough. If you are giving enough, then no teachers will be. Every teacher, almost every teacher in this country is hooked at the bank. And this is ourselves sitting here. Let me don't waste time on this aspect and proceed. Now, from there, we also have the other aspect that he said, that salary is a factor. They are underfunded, and teachers are the most restless being in the civil service. Very restless people. Yet with that underfunding, they are restless. They continue with their work at home. Look at how hectic the nature of the... Almost all the civil servants might not even go with their home, with their money, with their work at home. But teachers do. How many papers did you carry, at home to mark? And with all this energy, compare that energy to the amount of money that you are giving. You will know that teachers, they are really believable in this country. Let's get going. Now, other than that, I will also bring the point that he mentioned, that the government bench mentioned, that Sana said the motivation. Of course, motivation is not in the teaching field. If you go to the teaching arenas, see how teachers withhold one another. Instead of covering each other's fault, teachers are running after each other. You don't do this, you don't do that. I had the last encounter with a principal myself on a school page. A principal had to follow me on an occasion he had no clue about, because we are angry at one another. This is the reason why teachers are backwarded, and that's the reality.
Look at the motivation. Teachers don't motivate one another. Instead of covering one another, they debunk each other's fault. Instead of telling him what to do, you tell him, you just go and sell his story out. This is what is happening. Thank you for mentioning that demotivation. From there, I will also mention the fact, if we say teachers are not respected, it's one of the demotivated factors that he mentioned. He said it here that teachers are not respected, and that's the reality. Go inside a classroom, no matter how many amount of money you are given. It is your fellows that report one another that shows the sign that you are not respected, even by the students in a classroom setting. This is what is happening. Okay? And then from there, I will give one of the statements that is only one point with regard to the motion that I have with you here. Now, salary, I will say with certainty that salary is one of the factors that teachers are not demotivated. Salary is one of the main factors that teachers are demotivated. Their salaries are not harnessing their problems. The problems that are coming toward teachers is more than the money that they are receiving. In fact, before the end of the month, you are already done with that money because you are hooked with loan. In fact, this topic is not debatable. All right? Then I'll come to summarize whatever I mentioned without any delay. That I debunk the point, sit down and listen. I debunk the point that he said education is underfunded, which he said by himself. And that is true. Underfunding has to do with monetary issue. We all know that. And I strengthened the point that Alasana said it is demotivated. Of course it is. Education is demotivated, and there were various factors attached to that. And then I mentioned my own point. Then I clarified the fact that salary is one of the issues because teachers are being hooked even before they receive, even within that duration, they are already done with their issues. All right? So this is all I have for you. And then thank you very much without any delay. So see you when the time is right.
Honorable Speaker, members of the mighty government bench, and then the so-called opposition members. That is, to start with my debate, I will first outline the structure of my debate. That is, the first thing that I'm going to do is to debunk the points of the opposition members, that is both the opposition leader and his deputy. Then I will strengthen the points of the Prime Minister and then the Deputy Prime Minister, and then also strengthen the point of my co-member, that is the leader of the closing government. Then I will give a point, summarize, and conclude. First of all, the honorable or the so-called honorable member of the opposition leader did say that teachers are not demotivated, and then he cited GTU as an example. That is, GTU is giving land to teachers, and then he did mention that he is one of those that benefited from those lands that are given by GTU CCU. But honorable opposition member, let me put it to you. Don't you know that GTU CCU is scamming teachers? Instead of helping teachers to become financially independent, they are making teachers to become more of dependence, financial dependence. They are encouraging teachers to take loans. There are times that a teacher will go to their offices to withdraw from their accounts, but these people will not allow that particular teacher to withdraw from his or her saving, but instead will motivate you to take account. And to tell you that GTU is not an institution that employs teachers. So when we are talking about salaries as the driving factor that lead to the attrition of teachers in the Gambia, we cannot use GTU as a motivating factor in the teaching field. Are you getting me? If you have used the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education, it will have been better. But you missed that point. The next thing that you did mention is lack of promotion, which your co-opposition leader. Don't you realize that this past academic year, there are hundreds of teachers that are promoted into different categories within the teaching cadre. That is, you have principal class A, B, C, and other various categories within the teaching cadre. So there is a lot of there are a lot of promotions that are going on within the teaching field. Then to strengthen the point of the mighty government prime minister and his opposition, that okay, come.
When was the last time before the recent promotion that teachers were promoted? Can you please give us the exact year, please?
Yes, here we are not focusing in the past. We are talking about the present. And the present here is, for the past academic year, there is massive or mass teacher promotion. Even some of us in the university here, we are already promoted if they were to be in the system. People like me, are you getting me? If I was in the system, I could have shifted from where I was to where I supposed to be in this particular academic year. So that one is no more relevant here. We are more focused on the future. That is to strengthen the point of the prime minister and the deputy prime minister. We state that low salaries for teachers and then teachers are shifted, which is absolutely right. We all know that in this country, almost the 90% of the teachers in the Gambia here, they just see the teaching field as a stepping stone. That is, let me start with it until if I see another place that is better. And a clear manifestation is the National Assembly member for Fonyi Bindam, that is Bakari Kebaji. He was a teacher. He left the teaching field because he see a greener pasture than the teaching field. And we have a lot of other members. That is, the Prime Minister did mention about the former police deputy PRO, who was a teacher. He left the teaching field to the police because there he was promoted and he is to earn more than what he's supposed to earn if he continue within the teaching field. So it is a motivating, it is not. Then let me also bring another point that the Prime Minister did mention, that is lack of respect for teachers. I'm not taking PR anymore. Lack of respect for teachers. If you see why teachers are not respected, or that teachers lack the respect that they deserve in the society, is because of the low salaries that they are earning. It is evident that in this country, everybody knows what teachers are earning. Are you getting me? So before, in the past 30, 50 years, it was a pride to be a teacher. But in the recent years, that even for a teacher to have a wife in our society is very difficult. You can date a girl at a younger age. You move until you want to make a decision, that is to make halal to it. Somebody outside the country in Europe, where they hope that those people are getting better or earning more money than that particular teacher, that girl will end up disappointing you, and it is evidence in the society. We are seeing it both day and night. So what the Prime Minister did mention is absolutely right. Teachers lack respect in the society due to the lack of due to the insufficient payment of salaries to teachers. Then to strengthen another point that the closing government leader did mention, that is underfunding in the education, and then restlessness. Teachers being the civil servant that rests less than any other civil servant, which is absolutely right. We all know that we have teachers that are teaching in 2 or more schools in this country. You teach in a particular school in the morning shift, you go and teach to a particular school in the afternoon shift. You are also supposed to have another night classes with kids at home. You know, you are also supposed to mark papers. You are supposed to prepare your lesson plan, scheme of work. You are supposed to prepare. You have to read for your tomorrow lessons and others. So teachers don't rest at all, which the closing government leader did mention, which is absolutely right. So to my own point also, to the as the House believe that low salaries is the cause or is the driver of teachers' attrition in the country, is teachers are frustrated in the field. Any teacher that we've seen in the Gambia is frustrated, and if seen any other opportunity, will leave the field as soon as possible. So this is what I have for you, and then thank you very much. Yeah, thank you.
The motion is this House believes that low salaries are What is the motion? This house believes that the low salaries are the primary drivers are primary low salaries are primary drivers of teacher attrition in the Gambia. So they were supposed to come and make us believe that low salaries are indeed the primary drivers of teacher attrition in the Gambia. However, they came and brought up points like lack of respect, demotivation, and others. The points were not wrong, but the manner in which they were explained made them really made us believe that low salaries are not the primary driver of teacher attrition. Rather, it was those points. It was the manner in which they were explained. Let's now come to the closing side of the government, which is the government member and the government whip. Of course, the points were not well explained here, but when the government whip came, he was able to link the fact that low salaries, lack of respect, is caused by low salaries, which was not made mention of, which was not mentioned by the opponent side. They just came and said lack of respect, like, and made example of an incident which happened in which a teacher was caught by a student when there was a thing that occurred between them. But when the closing came and they were strengthening the points, they made mention of the fact that lack of respect is caused by low salaries. So we wanted them to link their points with the topic of with the motion of the House. Now let's come to the opening opposition. Of course, the opponent opposition did well. However, I feel like the first speaker under-debated. He debated within 2 minutes, 30 seconds, which was very low. And of course, we had his partner who came in, was able to point out the flaws that were mentioned by these people, and also made mention of his points and gave us very relevant example. And now to the other person there, which is the government member, you focus more of your time on debunking the points of these people and strengthening the points of these people. You only gave 1 point, which was another downfall on your side. So I think you should work on this. Now let's go straight to the result. On third, okay, let's start with the public speaking. So you guys can text me or text any of us if you want more feedbacks. We would not have time, okay? So yeah, you can announce.
Okay, for the public speaking, in third position we have. For the public speaking, the results. In third position we have Sayo Jasi. In second position we have Ensa Jaha. And in first position we have the first year student Amadou Njai. Well done.
Okay, now let's begin with the best speaker in the debate category. The best speaker goes to Mr. Ibrahim Massoud, that is the deputy opposition leader. And at third position, we have the opening government. Please give them a round of applause. Opening government. At second position, we have the opening opposition. Please give them a round of applause. And the winners of this year's EDUSA Week Debate Championship or debate competition is the closing government.
Thank you very much once again, UTGDA Association. This is indeed remarkable. Wonderful audience, I now implore you to once again congratulate Mr. Amadou Njai for being awarded the best public speaker of today's occasion. Let's give him a round of applause. From there, please join me again warmly congratulate Mr. Ibrahim Massoud for being awarded the best speaker of the debate association. And lastly, I implore you again to join me congratulate the closing members of the, how do you call it again? Of the government, or opening government, for being the best debaters. Thank you very much, and unanimously we congratulate all the participants, both those that partook in the public speaking and those that are here partaking in the debate competition.